Uh, One time, my buddy Jason is who I was speaking of, and we wanted to do an overnight. And Jason, me and him had done Musalak uh, like 3 weeks prior to this, so he was into it and wanted to, you know, keep on going. He got bit by the bug of that is climbing in the White Mountains and hiking in the White Mountains. So I said, all right, let's do an overnight. He had never done. I don't believe he'd done Washington, so Jefferson and Washington, and the two biggest. The biggest and the third biggest, I believe. Jefferson is maybe the fourth. So we started at Pinkham Notch Lodge, and we decided to do a loop and had the option of doing. What we could have done was, I believe it's Monroe, Adams. No, it's Madison. That's what it is. So Madison, Adams, Jefferson, Washington. However, it was extremely humid that day. I think it was mid-August, and it was extremely humid and extremely hot. So we got to our split, which was, I said we're going to stay here, which was the Six Husbands Trail we took the Great Gulf Trail up to where it splits, and the Six Husbands Trail, for those of you that don't know, is straight up. And this thing is like, we're looking at this straight up this face, and we're like, that can't be the way to go. But, I guess that's what the plan was. So we ended up at the tent site at the foot of Adams and Jefferson. There's a split, and Six Husbands to your left, and then can't remember the name of the trail, but it goes up to the top of the Adams, and then you can break off and go to Madison, and then hit the traverse and go all the way across the top. We didn't have time. The humidity and heat had slowed us down big time, so we didn't go to the top of Adams or Madison. We had started up, and it just got deeper and darker, so we wanted to rest up and eat, and we were right next to a river right there. The Pemi, the west branch, I believe, of the Pemi runs down through there. So we camped, had a great time. I'll insert the photos of the campsite. We were tucked down in there, and it was kind of creepy. It's this like sea of moss, and you just see how thick it is through there. It's crazy. So we camped there, had some good beef stew, got a good night's sleep, and then started up Jefferson, started up the Six Husbands Trail, and it was crazy going up. And we had big heavy packs. I had a tent and all that. So we went up and over and got up to the top of the ridge, and the weather started coming in as we were getting onto these ladders and stuff. These ladders that go, like, you'll have an overhang and a ladder that is bolted to the rock going up underneath this overhang, and with the large packs we were hitting our backs on the top of the overhang, so had to, in a couple spots, take our packs off, pass them up to each other, and then do the ladders. So it was pretty crazy, and as we came up over the top, the weather just totally took it over. It was crazy. For those of you that know as well, the weather will come in. It'll be, you can't even see 10 feet in front of your face. It's so foggy, and then the wind will blow it out, and you'll get this crazy view of, wide open mountain ranges. So that was cool. But you're never able to get your camera. It's gone just as that. You'll say, whoa, and you'll go to get your camera out, and by the time you've got it pulled up, it's gone. So that was happening to us, but we got some pictures of us coming up over the top, and then once we hit the top, the traverse from Jefferson to Washington was insane. It was 50 to 60 mile an hour winds with 70 mile an hour wind gusts. Every step was a struggle just to get to the next step. Totally socked in. Totally, this was my first time ever seeing, relying on cairns and having to use the cairn. And once you get to one cairn, looking and stopping and looking around and looking for the next cairn, so that you can get to where you're going. It's a crazy feeling because in the back of your mind you're like, damn, am I not going in the right direction? I just, one foot in front of the other. We saw a few people coming towards us, passing us, not passing us from coming behind us, but coming toward us from Washington down Jefferson to go down out of the weather, and everybody bundled up, everybody that we saw. We did see quite a few people because I guess the weather probably had come in unexpectedly, not that you should never not expect it. And we were totally, and we're talking the day before, the reason why we had to stop and slow down so much is because it was so damn hot. And this is the next day, and we were on this traverse up around 5,000 feet, and the weather had us in hat, gloves, over jacket, everything like it was the middle of winter. Except funny story, so we're coming across, and we had run out of water. I dropped my water bottle as we were coming up through these cliffs on the side of the Six Husbands Trail. I dropped my water bottle, one of my water bottles, so we were down to like hardly any water because we were relying on, we couldn't take that weight, and we were relying on getting water up at the summit. So, which is stupid. We were stupid. We didn't have enough water. And we got up to the ridge line, and we're just about out of water, and a pool of water had formed from the precipitation on the top of a giant boulder. And there was a flat piece up on top of this boulder that had a pool in it, and you could tell it was just rain and precipitation water because it was crystal clear right down to the bottom. And I know, everybody's going to say, you shouldn't have drank in that water, you're lucky you didn't, get your insides rotted out. I'm telling you, the best tasting water, maybe it was because we were short on water and we really needed it, so everything tastes better. I always say everything tastes better on the side of a mountain. So maybe this water wasn't as great as we thought, but it didn't kill us, and we both filled a water bottle, and it was great. So as we're moving on and going through this, getting closer and closer to Washington, I think it's only like 3.2 from the top of Jefferson over to Washington, and it took us about 2 hours, which is a long time. And so we're going through this, and we can hear these people behind us talking, and they're like talking about like the stock market, like just jabbering back and forth, two males, voices. And we stop at one point to get our bearings, and we had gotten behind a slab of rocks, so there was a little less wind. And all of a sudden, we look behind us, the voices get loud, and out of the fog come these two mountain runners. And I've always heard there's nothing like a mountain runner to make you feel horrible about yourself. These guys are in running mesh shorts with like running sneakers on and little windbreakers, and that's it. And they're talking about, they're jogging past us and talking about the stock market. Like, oh, hey guys. And they go running off, and we're like, oh my God, are you not? Like, we're acting like we're feeling like we're on the summit of Everest, trying to, we're like up on K2 or something, at Kilimanjaro, and these guys are running through like it's a day in the park. So, it's a killer. No matter how big and bad you are, there's always somebody bigger and badder, or more stupid. I mean, that's not a very smart attire to take to the home of the worst weather in the world, Mount Washington. So eventually we made it. We got to Mount Washington, only to be blocked. And we got a couple pictures on Mount Washington. We got to the summit, and if you see this picture that I put in here, our summit picture, we were blocked by people getting pictures with the sign that had come up in buses and had driven up. And that's frustrating. And I know I speak for a lot of us, and hey, the tourism to the top of Washington and New Hampshire in general brings in revenue. That's a whole other political argument that I don't want to get in with people, but I'm on the positive side for the tourism in this state. If you want to come here and spend your money, that's all right with me. I am like that. However, when I climb the tallest peak on the East Coast, and you know, it's a big thing, I want to take my picture with the summit sign, and I don't think I should have to wait in line for people who drove up. I just don't think, that's just how I feel. So we busted to the front, and I took a snap that picture with JB, and it came out to be a pretty good picture. And we stopped at the summit and got our bearings about us, got something to eat, got some good food in us, and headed back down. It opened up as we were coming down through it and turned to 80 degrees, beautiful weather, and we were just dressed for winter, and we came down into the valley, and it was nice going down through Tuckerman's and Tuckerman Ravine Trail. Anybody that knows though, Tuckerman Ravine Trail at the end sucks. When you're coming down at the end, and it's all the boulders there, once you get past like Hermit Lake and all that stuff, just those long, relentless, just relentless. That's all I can think of, just relentless, long, long and relentless trails that are unforgiving on your knees, especially after like a 16-mile journey. So we got back to the truck, and once we found Jason's keys to his truck, we got in his truck, and everything was good. And it turned out to be quite an adventure. And I would definitely recommend it, and I wish I could do it in better circumstances to where we could have hit all of them, Madison, Adams, Jefferson, and Washington. However, we're going to do the Presidential Traverse in July or June. I can't remember. It's on my phone, which is filming this. So, and we'll definitely have footage of that. Stay tuned for more footage of going snowboarding in 2 weeks. We're going climbing on the 11th. I think we're doing Tecumseh, so I'll have some footage and some photos of that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at mountainsgonewild.com. Yep, that's the website. And then on Instagram, it's at mountains_gone_wild. And follow us, subscribe, like, and comment. And we'll see you later.